The simple act of planting a seed, something so small and yet so full of potential. The beginning of a story that draws nourishment from the past, whilst bringing hope of a brighter future. A moment in time, in the eternal cycle of decay and renewal. And yet, as any seed will tell you, nothing can happen until there is first a time of stillness, a time of simply being, a time of contemplating all that is yet to come.
What happens when you see beauty in front of you? You become speechless. Your mind goes into a state of silence and quiet. You want to absorb what's around you, its energy brings you somehow in the awareness of your own beauty, beauty of stillness, beauty that takes you into a place of deep harmony. They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but beauty is in the heart of beauty, of the one who senses beauty. Beauty is what the spirit is. Become aware of yourself as this beautiful energy of love, of peace, and an energy that brings everything together, extends itself to everything and everyone. Become aware of your breath. see if you can get in tune with your heartbeat. Feel the pulsating nature of your heart. It's in that space that you perceive that which can't be seen with the physical eyes, which can't be touched with your physical hands, but you know that it gives life. This is the spiritual beauty that exists all around us. Become quiet. Become still. Become silent. And listen to that soundless silence that stops your mind and almost makes you miss a heartbeat. Takes you into a place of elated joy, but quiet, serene, and gentle. It's a space that holds and tolerates everything. It's a magnanimous space of grace. It comes to the door of your heart when you look inside your heart and feel the nature of who you are. A child of God, the one who has kinship with every living being. And this kinship is the beauty of who I am and what the world around us is. Allow yourself to bathe in this beauty and allow yourself to be lost in this, but still never lose yourself. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti is the soundless chant of the universe. It is at the very heart of each soul. From this deep peace, my inner being can blossom fully. And this magical energy of peace moves throughout my spirit. I am able to tread lightly through the landscape of life, always aware of the endless beauty of each moment. Peace, I embrace you. Peace, I absorb you. Peace, I am you.
The heart cannot beat without pauses for peace. It would be a heart in trauma if it did. So what could happen if we paused for peace? What would happen if we took inspiration from the beating heart and found moments of inner peace? In these times, we have begun to realize the potential of peace, the impact of peace amongst the noise.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om means I am, is the sound from within. And right at the very start of the organization in what today is Pakistan, at that time in the province of Sindh, the United India, they would chant Om, I am. And of course, when I say I am, the experience that I have of the inner being is that of peace. And so Om Shanti began there, right at the start of the organization. And today we use the word Om Shanti as a greeting. Hello and goodbye and how are you? And for me, it's a beautiful signal to turn inwards and find that peace that lies within the inner being and to experience that just in a very simple way within a moment. It's like pressing a button and instantly there's a feeling of that inner peace.
My name's Andrew Pattett and I'm a head teacher here in the UK. I work in secondary schools and now lead on the development of character education and the research that underpins that. Now for me, there is a fundamental link between what we label as character education and spirituality. After all, strength of character comes from strength of self, and that only really comes from true knowledge of who we really are. And that's probably one of the most striking things about the thinking and the practices of the Brahma Kumaris. In an age where we are ever more aware and ever more attuned, in fact, to the need to look outwards and to present a particular version of ourselves, in an age where our sense of self is blurred by viewing life through a multitude of lenses, Raja Yoga teaches us to look inwards. And I think if we're honest with ourselves, especially as adults, I think we've lost touch with how to do that. And in fact, I think we may even feel reluctant to do so, because I think all too often our sense of self is in fact shaped and manipulated by the views and the voices of others. Now, as a teacher, I've seen firsthand just how damaging that can be for colleagues, and especially how damaging it can be for young people. But I've also seen just how incredibly powerful and uplifting inner peace can be. The confidence, the energy, and the optimism that such an outlook can instill. Now, I first encountered, or at least properly connected with the Brahma Kumaris and Raja Yoga 5 or 6 years ago, when I attended a weekend meditation course. The course itself was called Meditation in a Box, and certainly succeeded in parceling up all of the core principles of Raja Yoga and meditation. But the impact of that course ran so much deeper for me and had a profound effect on my sense really of the world and our connectedness as people. And it's really shaped my view of education. Now, that sense of connectedness and belonging is something that I feel very strongly when I meet with BKs or attend Brahma Kumaris events. There is a really powerful sense of community, of family amongst the BKs. And that has, in turn, I think, really shaped my thinking about schools and the role of education. I've been teaching for almost 20 years now, and I really do feel that now, more than ever, it's our duty to do more. It can't be enough simply to provide our children with the tools they need for academic success. Now, more than ever, I think, we need to help them to learn other lessons, develop a different kind of understanding, in fact, different kind of intelligence. Because surely, if recent events have taught us anything, it must be that the ideals of social cohesion, cooperation and collaboration are urgent priorities for the future. And for me, that starts with the study of the self and a deeper understanding of our true identity. And again, that's why I feel the principles of Raja Yoga and the practices of the Brahma Kumaris have such a vital role to play. Now, of course, in the modern world, it can be all too easy to say that we're too busy to stop and stare. With so many competing priorities, and not just in schools, but in every walk of life, it can be all too easy to brush off or dismiss something like meditation as an indulgence. But actually, we all need to learn how to pause. We all need to develop the confidence and the self-discipline to know when to hit pause and be still. Now, of course, in schools, there's often talk of core values and principles, but one of the most important values to me is authenticity. And if there's one thing, one lesson that I've learned through Raja Yoga and meditation, it's that an authentic, undiluted relationship with the self is what we all need to recapture. And meditation is one way of achieving this. Now, I am by no means an expert, and I would say I'm actually still mastering the basics of meditation. But I do know that I draw a real strength and a real growing sense of stability from it. And since that first experience of Raja Yoga back in October 2016 or 17, I often think, how wonderful would it be if young people grew to know themselves in this way? If they could grow to have a view of the world that was shaped by peace, understanding and compassion, and not one that was polluted by panic, competition and conflict. What an incredible future that would be.
I'm here in North London. I live in this area, and this is 10 minutes from my home, and it's a beautiful park. It's nice to come over here and sit down, and I can touch a point within me where I know is peace. It's a wonderful thing to be at peace with yourself, even if it's only for 2 or 3 minutes, and you realize how very fortunate you are.
Being Om Shanti is to recognize the potential for goodness in all people and every situation. To operate from the heart and have supportive thoughts and feelings rather than opinion and blame.
There are so many things that I think have been transformational for me in this study and in the practice of Raja Yoga meditation. I think the main one, if I can think about main one, is about the sense of who I am and why I am here in this world right now. So a sense of the self, the truth about the self, and my purpose in a very practical way, a really practical way that actually impacts my day-to-day life.
We are Om Shanti. You are Om Shanti. But life easily pulls us away from that. We get caught in the big and small webs of peacelessness. We forget about peace. Over the past 50 years, students and friends of the Brahma Kumaris have been practicing being and living Raj Yoga meditation, the Om Shanti way.
You know, sometimes it's not as easy as you think to tap into that Om Shanti way. Sometimes it just feels like, what is the point? But what I like today is when I'm in one of those moments and I have the awareness that, oh, you're about to lose it. This is not who you are. Remember, that's who you used to be. You're wiser now, Pearl. And then, even though I'm having to have a strong message, a strong conversation with somebody, my intention, I hold on to peace, Pearl, because what you ultimately want from this situation is peace. So you can be responsible for how you choose to respond at this time. You can't be responsible for how the other person responds, but you have choice and you can be responsible and you can choose to speak, share, give your point from a place of peace. So for me, it's always about the Om Shanti way.
My response is my responsibility. There's power in that. There's healing in that. And perhaps all we need are tools that help us to remember, reassess, and respond.
My name is Sarah and I live in Newcastle in the northeast of England. Newcastle is a really vibrant city. It's full of life and newness. And it's surrounded by these huge sandy beaches, mostly deserted, and vast areas of green moorland and rolling hills and castles and remote villages. It has a sense of timelessness, of ancient past. And for me as a meditator, it really mirrors my own reflective practice of living life fully with everyone around me and then moving to a quiet space inside of me. And one of the many things I've loved about meditating, and in particular Raj Yoga meditation, has been about developing this clear understanding of myself and how I fit into the world around me. And that comes through connecting with this ancient, timeless part of me, the soul or consciousness, whatever you want to call it. I think we miss that part of us. We maybe can't put our finger on exactly what it is. Something, another layer to ourselves. It's a bit like being in a 2D world. Something's not quite fully there. And Raj Yoga teaches me to explore that other layer on a day-to-day and minute-to-minute basis, to respond well to what's going on around me in any given moment. And what I mean by that is to be able to give thoughts of kindness to someone when it would be so easy just to keep blaming, or to stay calm when it would just seem easier to give in to the chaos, to keep clarity and perspective when it would be so tempting not to take responsibility for myself. So, finding this timeless, peaceful part of myself, and to sit in that inner space, just to develop that practice and to really understand myself and my relationship with the world around me. I think that's really important. And I'm sitting here in Kirkcudbright in the southwest of Scotland. Kirkcudbright, as many of you may know, it's designated as the Scottish Artists' Town. And it's designated, artists were attracted here because of the light. It has a special light in the place that
gave artists scope to create very beautiful images. And so I actually live here. There isn't a Brahma Kumaris center as such here, but I live here, and in my residence, I've created a meditation space. I have been practicing Raj Yoga meditation since 1980, which amazingly, that's 41 years ago. So since then, I have always wanted that wherever I live should have the atmosphere of a sacred space, somewhere that when people enter, they feel changed in some way and connected with their own state of inner peace. And they're able to experience that silence that we talk about as the silence beyond sound. So what has the practice of Raj Yoga meditation brought to my life? One of my and ever deepening understanding and experience and realizations is really the power and effect of our thoughts, the influence we have on others, whether we're aware of it or not, and actually the fact that I have a choice as to what thoughts I create, and thus the feelings that exist within myself. And this not only affects how I'm feeling, but these feelings, they affect my physical well-being, they affect the people around me, they affect my environment, and it's unlimited, because what we're beginning to learn about as we begin to be aware of the thoughts and the feelings, which are very subtle energies, I begin to realize that I'm something even more subtle. I'm the creator of these thoughts, these feelings. And in that awareness, I begin to tune into myself as a being of energy, a radiant being, a being of light. In fact, a very silent being. And I discover that peace that I've been looking for is actually there within myself.
Come by the hills to the land where fancy is free. Stand where the peaks meet the sky and the lochs meet the sea, where the rivers run clear and bracken is gold in the sun, and the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done. Come by the hills to the land where life is a song. Sing while the birds fill the air with their joy all day long, where the trees sway in time and even the wind is in tune, and the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done. Come by the hills to the land where legends remain, where stories of old fill the heart and may yet come again, where the past is lost, but our future is still to be won, and the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done.
The journey begins and ends beyond, the traveller with a silent song. A being of light, a conscious star, an invisible guest from afar. Invisible actors with a role to play, visiting this grand world stage. As visitors, they are aware that they are just temporarily there. Embarking on a journey through time, naturally a trustee with no labels of mine. Invisible, unseen, unknown. In time, they forget their home. They look for peace on the stage. Born of darkness, a self-created cage. In time, the one who stays awake and free reminds them of truth and eternity. The mind is bathed in this clarity, a traveller from a different reality. The light of truth shining bright gives them back their spiritual sight. A being of light with no concept of burden, knows the whole play and the final curtain. Enjoys the whole theatre show. Also knowing how to let it go. They don't need food, they don't need air. They don't need anything from anywhere. This is the truth of the invisible traveller. When we see the full picture. Clean, clear, and complication-free, the awakening soul says, "That's me."
For myself, it's very much this awareness that God is the one who's the bestower of all that I need. And if I can tap into the powerhouse, the almighty authority, who is the divine, then that becomes available not just for me, but those are the vibrations that are shared with the world. And so I think that for each one to be able to connect very quickly with one thought, just as you press the button and the light comes on, in the same way, can I press the button of my awareness and connect with the divine so that instantly light and might and truth and love all become available. When I use the word Baba, in my own awareness, I'm thinking about the Father, and I know God is the Mother and the Father, but in a very natural way, the awareness of the inheritance of happiness, of love that comes from the Father is important. So the word Baba for me reminds me of this image that you see behind me, this being of light, the Supreme. And so when I say Baba, my thoughts go to that being, and I connect with that being and feel all the goodness and the power and the benevolence that is there within that being.
I begin using my breath, taking a slow breath in, sucking up any thoughts that I don't need at this moment, just holding them for a moment and slowly blowing them away with my outward breath, bringing my awareness to this space just above and behind the eyes, aware of myself as the subtle, tiny star, the soul, here in the center of the forehead. As I move into this awareness, I feel myself becoming peaceful, becoming still. I'm this radiant being of peace, of love, of joy, of wisdom, of power. This is my nature. As I gently move beyond the awareness of the physical body, I become surrounded by light. I am light. And now I direct my thoughts beyond this physical world to that soul who remains beyond, remains whole. The Supreme Soul, the Divine, God. This soul I know to be the ocean of love, the ocean of purity, of wisdom, the ocean of bliss, of power. This is my eternal spiritual parent, my sweet father, sweet mother. And as I remember this soul, I feel a flow of energy, powerful light washing over me. This light is healing, calming, uplifting. I'm filling with this light from the divine. I feel myself being recharged. I, the soul, the point of light, am filling with light from God. And this light naturally spreads out to the world, to nature, and out to the whole human family, my family. I am light, filling with beautiful light, sharing light with the world.
In 1991, in London, the Brahma Kumaris inaugurated a magnificent purpose-built international headquarters called Global Cooperation House. As it opened its doors to serve through workshops, seminars and day events, it became clear that people thirsty for spiritual understanding and experience would also benefit from a residential facility where they could step away from their busy lives and receive a taste of inner peace and power. Daddy Janki instituted an urgent search for such a facility, and some 40 properties were viewed before a historic 70-bedroom former stately home called Newnham House, built in the mid-18th century, overlooking the River Thames in Oxfordshire, suddenly came into view. It had been empty for 4 years, and on the 4th of January 1993, a 100-year lease was acquired for just over £1 million. 6 months of renovation followed, and in June 1993, the house opened as Global Retreat Centre, also known as GRC, reflecting the fact that it was to serve people from all over the world. Educators, prison and social workers, health professionals, architects, scientists, and other specialist groups benefited from events tailored to their professional needs. Meditation retreats for the public were so popular that at one time there was a waiting list of 500. There were also regular day seminars, afternoon workshops, and evening talks. In recent years, at GRC, a festival called Peace in the Park brought in tens of thousands of visitors, including families and young people, many families. It began with a half-day event in the Grade 1 listed grounds, where, as well as soaking up the beautiful healing energy, people could learn aspects of Raj Yoga meditation and allied subjects like positive thinking or stress management. In no time, this turned into a 3-day festival, offering a choice from as many as 250 events. These ranged from Qigong to garden tours, fairy tale theatre to face painting, short lectures and musical interludes. And a concert at the end of each day took us all into a state of sacred love and tranquility, with a meditation for world peace. I remember sitting on the lawns at the end of these days and the beauty of the hundreds and thousands of people enjoying it. The work of the retreat centre was done without pay by those involved and without charge to participants. This was because guests were receiving something for which there's no price tag, and also VKs were furthering their own spiritual development through this service. Nevertheless, buildings, especially historic ones, cost time, energy, and money to maintain. Nearly 4 years ago, an aging plumbing system began to fail, and GRC had to close for an extensive renovation. That work is now almost completed, and it's hoped that the centre will very soon become ready for people to come and experience their own inner love, truth, and beauty once again.
I'd like to congratulate the Brahma Kumaris on their success in the UK. It's 50 years since Daddy Janki first arrived in London with her message of inner peace and personal power. I first came across the Brahma Kumaris in the early 2000s. I was looking for a meditation retreat, and I ended up at the Global Retreat Centre, which was absolutely fantastic. I learned so much. An amazing program, fantastic resource. And that's where I found out there were centres all over the UK. And being based in Yorkshire, I was thrilled that I was able to go to the centre in Leeds. Over the years, I've been to many programs there, made many friends. And I particularly enjoy the end of year program. On New Year's Eve, instead of going to a party, I go to their light and love-filled room and spend time in a beautiful evening of self-reflection. It's one of my favourite nights of the year. I've had so much benefit from the BKs, everything I've learned, all the teachings, the books, the talks and sessions and workshops that I've been to. They are a phenomenal resource. I'm so grateful, and I send my good wishes for the next 50 years.
We now move south to Haverhill. Hearing the news today can often make us feel overwhelmed and powerless about the challenges we face in our modern world. Sometimes we question, what is my purpose in life? How can I make a difference? We meet Maggie Crompton from Haverhill in East Anglia, whose life purpose changed overnight. In the immediate aftermath of a car accident, she had a profound out-of-body experience in which she experienced such deep feelings of love and security that she knew she had discovered something of incredible value and power. Maggie soon put her newfound inner treasure into actions for the benefit of her community in different ways. One such project was at High Point Prison, just 6 miles from Haverhill. For many years, officers had been subjected to spates of riots and disturbances. After attending a prison staff retreat at Brahma Kumaris main centre in Willesden, the prison governor contacted Maggie to ask her to visit the prison and create an area of peace. This Maggie did. She transformed the space into a beautiful meditation room for everyone to take benefit.
That out-of-body experience wasn't an overnight thing. It was something that happened so that I would wake up. It was a wake-up call. And once I had that wake-up call, everything in my world changed. Everything. Relationships, connections, my work, everything changed. And I had to start all over again. It was like being a baby. I had to relearn. I went to the meditation center in Jersey that was there at the time, because my friend at work said, you're going for an operation, you're really going to have to be very unstressed, and I would advise you to go and learn meditation. And as soon as I walked in the door, I was only there a few moments, when the whole feeling of the place took me immediately back to the experience. I had to come to the meditation center, which was Brahma Kumaris meditation center. And that was it. That was the beginning of my sacred journey. And what that was spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge is an incredible healer.
at a time of transition, I need to have faith. Faith in that being up above, that being is truly concerned about only the highest and the best for me, the benevolent one, the one who has such compassion that it's enough for the world, but it's there for me also. And so that relationship with the divine, in which I feel that truly the divine is my mother, my father, my friend, my teacher, my guide. And if I can connect again and again with that being, I'll feel that comfort, that strength, that understanding, the significance of what's going on, and be able to make sense of it and be able to maintain my own stability. And the second thing that I need to have faith in is myself. And sometimes it's easier to have faith in God than yourself, because we know ourselves pretty well. We know all the ups and downs we've been through, the fluctuations and the mistakes we've made, and all the things that only I know that I harbor inside myself. And so to know that, okay, whatever has happened, happened. But now at this moment, I have the opportunity to have the highest vision of myself in my own state of completion. And holding that vision of myself, I know that I'm doing my level best to be able to move towards that vision, to make that vision become a reality in my life. And so when I'm honest and truthful with myself about how far I've come and how much further I need to go, it becomes very easy to maintain that confidence and faith in the self that with help from above, yes, definitely there'll be victory. I'll be able to achieve my vision, my goal in a very real way.
Sit comfortably and relax every part of your body. Tighten your shoulders, your fingers, your toes, your face, and release. Feel the tension melt away. Your shoulders drop, your face is relaxed. I move my consciousness away from my body towards my breathing. Inhale and exhale, slowing down my breath. Inhale and exhale, deepening the quality of my breath. I am relaxed. I visualize a sparkling, shining light between my eyes in the center of my forehead. It is I, the soul. There are no names or labels. The simplicity of who I am is I, the soul, the eternal divine being. What makes me who I am? I am peace. I am light. I am pure consciousness. I plant these 3 seeds in my mind. I am peace. I am light. I am pure consciousness. These seeds begin to grow as I focus on them, letting all other thoughts pass by. These seeds take root in my mind and begin to bloom. I guide my consciousness upwards, travelling through a world of golden light. In this world there are no walls, There is no movement. There is no sound. I am surrounded by infinite light. I sense the presence of a divine being, the highest power. He is the ocean of peace, love, and happiness, all powerful. These qualities radiate from the benevolent one, and I absorb these vibrations, soaking up the feeling of peace, love, and happiness. I feel full. This is my original state of my being. Content and rejuvenated, with a new sense of clarity, I keep this connection as I return to this physical realm. Om Shanti.
Dip down, dip and down, dip and down. We're in there. Dip down, dip and down, dip and down. We're in there. Inside of who you are. Inside of who you are. Time has its own way to be. Gracious behavior is the savior. It seems to be inside of who you are. The sky is like a storybook with sand in your eyes. See the light, come and see the sunrise inside of who you are.
Let it go, release. Feel your heart return to peace. There's no need to be right. There's no need to be heard. There's no need to fight, just let it go. Make peace with your ego. Release. Feel your heart return to peace. Did you know that you can change your past? It starts with your thoughts. They come first, not last. Meditate, control your mind. Your seeds of discipline simply need watering. Nurture that power from within. Your thoughts are yours to create. Allow negativity to dissipate like the mystical breath of the cool breeze that glides its way through the leaves of all trees. You can be free. Love, peace, joy, wisdom, and purity. It's easy. That's who we're meant to be. Totally free. Not attached to these mental stories or clinging to this misshapen identity or longing for a false sense of security. Just let it go. Release. Feel your heart return to peace. Sit beneath a tree. Breathe in stability. Breathe out. Release it through poetry. The power to pack up wasteful thinking shall be your faithful servant. Allow your finite light to shine. You can be free.
I live from this divine sacred sanctum of quietness. I am aware that I am the owner of my peace of mind. I choose to honor this peace in every moment of my day. I choose to be. before I do. I choose to make peace my offering to each soul I pass by.
Om Shanti. I am a soul. I am peace. I am light. Om Shanti.
What step can I take to make a difference? It's often not possible to change what's happening around me externally. But one thing I have the power to change is how I respond internally to what is happening outside of myself. It's becoming necessary to be skilled in equanimity, in maintaining an inner balance and stability. That is within my control.
This is my inner world. I look out at the world through these eyes, the windows of my soul. Retreating inwards like a tortoise withdrawing into its shell, away from the many demands, stresses and strains of the outside world. I begin to discover the many treasures inside of me. Here, in the stillness and silence of my inner world, I can begin to discover what I was searching for. All the things to make my life happier and peaceful are inside of me.
We know that beliefs and attitudes affect matter, my surroundings, and the environment, so that if I am focused on positive energy, then a higher justice will take care of everything in the right way. Further, what I can do is to take energy from the Supreme Being, that unique soul that is the eternal source of goodness. For a moment, imagine you are looking down on the world and that above you there is a divine, pure and beautiful light. It is the light of the Supreme Being, sending pure, loving, restorative energy. Feel the power of this light as it cascades down over you and onto the world below. Feel the energy of this light as it pours over you like a waterfall, washing away all the worries of the world, cleansing every mind and refreshing every heart.
connecting with soul, the divine. All souls belong to the one divine. As I begin to understand the self as light, as peace, as love, as a being of happiness, I begin to feel there's another as a support. I can feel that feeling of belonging. Of belonging to the whole world. That support, that strength, that company opens a door to the world, for the self, for the soul. I can realize, I can feel that I am a soul. All souls of the world are my brothers. When I have the company of the divine, I can understand I belong to the family of the world. It's steady, it's strength. The soul is light. All souls belong to the one divine. I am a soul. Om Shanti.
I'm not sure that you can actually teach kindness, but you can give people opportunities to show kindness. You can celebrate kindness. But I think it's also about that human interaction. Most kindness, acts of kindness, are local. They're about that fundamental human interaction. Yes, it's wonderful to be able to write a cheque and give money to a homelessness charity, but it's also wonderful if you pass somebody in the street who's obviously in a bad way, to stop and actually ask them and introduce yourself and just have that human interaction. So, I think again it's about your own personal effort, it's about being proactive, but it's also about how organisations can create more opportunities for local activity, for people to get involved with things locally, to work with their neighbours, and for that really to be where the powerhouse of doing good, comes from, and fundamentally that opportunity for people to be able to care. And there's a danger with lots of charities that absolutely do wonderful work, but almost we privatise care and say that we can just show care by giving a donation, when fundamentally it's got to be a human interaction between two human beings, which absolutely, as we've discussed, benefits both the giver and the receiver.
You've been friends and connected to the Brahma Kumaris, both of you, for many years now. What do you feel that the Brahma Kumaris has to offer in this territory of kindness and practice and spiritual awareness?
I think in the events that I've attended, Brahma Kumaris, and the speakers that I've heard have all emphasised that acts of kindness, flow from that inner peace and in turn feed that inner peace. So, but I think, for you have that opportunity to see, the human being, to see humanity, you need, in a way, really to slow down, to be able to recognise that humanity, to be not so task-driven, but also to be able to absolutely anchor what you do within that deeper spirituality, that deeper peace. And I think it is all the pace of life. I think it is all the impact of what can seem like an angry and hostile world. It is often that which makes people feel more almost under siege, more self-contained, and more reluctant to reach out. And the wonderful work of Brahma Kumaris is absolutely to break that down and absolutely to allow people to find that inner peace, and from that inner peace plant the seeds which lead to acts of kindness, and the way that those acts of kindness then absolutely feed back into your own inner peace.
One of the most remarkable things for us to experience was the first visit of Brahma Kumaris to the monastery. And it was as though, there was just this amazing group of people who were radiating peace and tranquility and joy. And it was sort of something that everybody wanted to be part of. And as a result of that visit, we became, obviously we became closer, and we've had groups of people coming to close our meditations on our health and well-being and spiritual Sundays. So Brahma Kumaris have ended up sort of overlaying some of the work that we've been doing at the monastery on those special Sundays, and people get an awful lot from that because it gives them that time to go within and find out their own inner peace. And as a result of the lockdowns and closure, we decided again, opening our doors again, the most important thing that we would offer now at the monastery was an hour of silence every single day. So between 12 and 1 o'clock every single day, you can come for as little or as long as you like to enjoy that time to go within. And I have to say thank you to Brahma Kumaris for encouraging us to provide that service, because it's what they do all of the time, what you do all of the time, and it's priceless. We all need it. Thank you.
Deep within, there is thanks or gratitude to give respect and also express the inner feelings of goodness of other person that one has experienced. So when we are saying good wishes, sending good wishes, it's a very pure actually expression. But we have to check, are we actually at that time sending these good wishes? There's a question, will those good wishes reach to that person? Or even, for example, it's a mass, so many people are suffering through natural calamities or suffering through some kind of problems from relatives, no matter what our problems are. It's a kind of collective situation. How will it reach that? It's not a packet that we can send. But because good wishes are very pure and subtle energy, it will reach definitely if I am selfless and truly at that time with honesty, with pure love, with open heart, with generosity, and without any expectations that I am giving, I should get some return. No, it's not a business. It's not an exchange either. It's an act of charity, but without having consciousness that I'm giving, because love does not expect anything. Pure love gives without unlimited, selfless. But at that time, these vibrations are there, that feelings are pure. So how will it reach? It will reach only when I am embodiment of love. Embodiment of love. When I am connected honestly with that person, or I am just wishing with a pure feeling of helping them. So this is kind of vibrations generated.
Once in every cycle of time, there comes a point when we receive a knowledge that is so pure and so clear that there is no doubt left about the identity of the self and the identity of the Supreme, the original blueprint of consciousness. And this consciousness is able to share with us a very, very pure knowledge. And this knowledge is like a proof. It gives us such a full and clear understanding. And this understanding influences everything. It makes the intellect very cool and very clear and able to see what the need is in any situation and how to meet that need. And the answers are all within the soul. What is needed comes from within the soul. In today's world, it is usual to think in material terms, as if money and matter, material things, are the answer to everything. But we can see this way of thinking is not bringing the fruits that we want. And the fruits that we want are within the soul. And we just need to find and connect with this core essence of true understanding that will enable us to emerge the inner fruits in all their variety. And it is these fruits that we so much desire for ourselves and for our world. And it is so simple, so very simple, to reconnect with the essence, with the point. And the essence of Raj Yoga is in just 2 words: Om Shanti, which means my truth is peace. I am peace. Om Shanti.
Our aspiration today, and over several decades, has been to help people reinvigorate their lives with the Om Shanti way. Ultimately, it is a way of life. It is a movement and a path to inner peace, to outer peace. It looks different for us all, because we are all different. The Om Shanti way celebrates those differences. It supports the recognition of inner peace and encourages you to make peace a reality.